And now, your main event. Introducing the hosts of Wrestling with Freddie, Jeff Dye, and Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah. What's up, boys?
Oh my God, you put your fingers up and confetti fell down, and that was amazing. You just celebrated yourself. That was amazing.
I feel like it's time. We got some special effects on this podcast, so, that's why.
Yeah, we got to step up this. We're stepping up the podcast, you guys. You got your Arizona Diamondbacks hat on as a Dodgers fan. That's slightly upsetting. But you love baseball all over the world, Jeff.
Yeah, and I'm live from Arizona, so I felt like I'd rock the gear. That's true.
All right, we got a lot to go through in the world of wrestling this week, and it's 2007 all over again. And that's right around the time that I was working at the WWE, and John Cena there's a bird singing, by the way, behind you, and I can hear it, and it's beautiful. John Cena was the goodest of guys, the greatest of guys. He didn't like me, but he was the goodest of guys, the greatest of guys, and if you were a kid, you friggin' loved him. And he was the world champion of WWE during like the PG era, which was a big burden to carry because you didn't get to say all the cool stuff like DX did. You didn't get to be in the last hour of Monday Night Raw when the ratings could be a little racier, or the rating could be a little racier and they could float to PG-13. That's when Hunter would cut his promos. But John Cena had to cut him first hour, and it was a real thankless job, man. The crowd hated him. They would chant or hold signs that said, "If Cena wins, we riot." You dorks never rioted, cowards. And they would scream, "You can't wrestle, you can't wrestle." Like, they would shit all over him if they were of a certain age, right? And they didn't want that kind of wrestling. They hated PG wrestling. You hated it with all your heart and all your soul. And you loved Randy Orton because he would come out and destroy John Cena, and the belt would go back and forth between them there for a few years. John had it more, but Randy was the only one that could really take it off John, and then the only one that could take it off Randy was John. And they would go back and forth. Well, now it's 2025, and the roles are completely reversed. And the humble, kind-hearted veteran is that scumbag Randy Orton who broke my fucking back on Monday Night Raw. Y'all think I forgot about that? Hell no. And the heel, the man who would break my back now, is John Cena, who's a dick, and everybody hates him now, although we love it because he finally went heel. But everybody hates you son of a bitch. Boo. And they booed him, and he thinks it's a dysfunctional relationship. That's his motivation for this whole heel turn. And the whole world has reversed, and everybody's finally gotten what they wanted. Right? Yeah. I hope so. Jeff, is this what you've wanted to see, and now you're finally getting it? Are you happy with the heel turn?
Yeah, I mean, the heel turn I'm not crazy about. But what are we living in? The upside down? Are we living in some sort of bizarro universe where in real life, Randy Orton and Freddie Prinze Jr. are cool, and John Cena was a little grumpy to you and a little prickly towards you being in the WWE? But in kayfabe back then, you loved John Cena and you hated Randy Orton. But now, in the real world, Randy Orton's cool and John Cena's the bad guy, and now your kayfabe is all matched with your real Freddie thoughts. It's very, very, very weird.
Yeah, I'm confused. I'm confused on how I feel about everything, Jeff.
Yeah, it's very strange. I love Randy Orton in real life, and I like John Cena. I don't really know him, but I've been a fan forever.
I always liked John. John just didn't like me. I got it. He didn't want Hollywood in the wrestling business, but I always liked him and respected the sacrifice he had to make and being the PG champ for all those years. I think even though he's highly heralded, I still think he's underrated for what he did and what he gave to the business, what he did for Make-A-Wish kids. That was going on when I was there. Like, John was never available because he was always granting wishes to Make-A-Wish kids. And that's fucking awesome. So I always liked him. He just didn't like Hollywood. And now he does. So everything's flipped upside down. Even his philosophy on acting. He'd probably like me now. He'd probably like me.
Well, I will say that's what I like about him is that it's hard to be the good guy.
Yeah.
Whether you like DX saying "suck it" and Stone Cold getting to clash beers, that's fun, but that's like it's a trick, It's like dude, you kind of got these kind of gimmicky kind of thing. Whereas it's hard to be the good guy. We're doing the right thing, and so John Cena doing that for so long was very admirable, and it's a very hard road to be the good guy. You don't get to be the cool Darth Vader. You got to be Luke Skywalker. And so,
that's actually what I was going to say. Is like from one group of dorks to another group of dorks. You can compare it to Star Wars. Like everybody wanted to be Han Solo because Han Solo was cool as fuck and said heel shit, but got away with it as a babyface. Luke Skywalker was corny as hell. Like if you were a grown, my mom thought he was a dork. Like she didn't think that movie was cool. She liked Harrison Ford because he was a man, and that's what like DX and Stone Cold more than DX was more like adolescent children. Stone Cold was a man's man, and he drank beer and he'd fight you and kick you in the gut and stunner you, and John didn't get to do any of that, man. John had to work hard. John had to take his vitamins, believe in God, all that stuff, man. Believe in himself, help you believe in yourself. It was all the responsibility with none of the fun, and he never got the credit for that. I still don't think he gets the credit for that. Now they just love that he's finally turned heel. We tried to turn him heel when I worked there, you guys. I promise.
Oh, really?
Every writer on the writing team was like, hey, here's an idea to pitch to Vince to turn John heel. And Vince is just like, yo, shut the fuck up. It's not, he's selling merch he's a good guy. He's never going to be a bad guy. And so he never.
And we need more good guys because I think it is easier to be a bad guy. It's more fun to be a bad guy. It's easier to be a bad guy. It's easier to write for a bad guy. I'm assuming. Is that true?
Yeah, you get to just talk shit. Like, that's fun.
So we need good guys, and it's admirable to be a good guy. And I think it's harder to be a good guy. So that's why I was a little disappointed with the heel turn because I would have loved to have seen just a John Cena who was good all the way through.
Really, you would want to see him maintain it. Wow, you got to be the only one. You got to be the only one because everybody wanted, which is cool, but everybody wanted that dude to turn for so long. I mean, I feel like even Hunter pitched an idea when I worked there on how to turn him heel, and it was just like everything was just like throwing rocks against a steel wall, like just nothing was gonna happen, man.
I just feel like in my mind it's like, well, that's the hardest thing to be. So why end with being like the easy kind of heel turn thing? But all of that to be said, we gotta give a shout out to Randy Orton. This guy went from being not even having a match at WrestleMania. It was just this KO Randy Orton match where, unfortunately injuries happen and, KO needs this neck surgery ASAP. So now he has, now Randy's going into his 20th WrestleMania going, I don't even know who I'm going to wrestle. And now he's probably the hottest storyline in wrestling.
He could be. You could argue that.
Immediately.
Yeah, he went from not having a match to Joe Hendry squash match, to this RKO out of nowhere. Oh my God. And everybody went, oh shit, they're going to do it again. And this was a match that in 2009, everyone was tired of because they had done it like 5 times. And we haven't seen it in forever. And now all of a sudden, like you said, it's like the hottest storyline. Like
it's amazing.
And can he win? Like, can they do the back and forth thing? I don't think so, because I think it's Cena's last run, so he'll keep it until the guy who's going to have it for a while beats him. But I always pitch this on the show as like have a title go back and forth between 2 guys. Who better than the last 2 guys that went back and forth between? That was the last time it happened in WWE. So it could bounce back and forth, and then finally Cody comes back and is like, fuck this, triple threat, fuck you guys, and then he can get his title back and be champ again. Hopefully they have some other people that they can push, that they can sort of look at in the same category as their big money wrestlers. And they can bring someone like a Karrion Kross and give them a genuine
that'd be awesome.
Push, or switch Gunther over to SmackDown and have him be a guy that goes after. We'll get into Gunther's storyline here in a second. But hopefully they have somebody planned the way political parties should have politicians prepped and ready for when it's their turn to run for president. Neither side seems to do that as well as I'd like.
Yeah.
Wrestling or politics.
Yeah, in all things. I know you know Karrion Kross. He's a pal of yours. Would you say that he's most similar, and not like character-wise or anything, but like he's a Randy Orton-esque guy? Or who in the business do you think Karrion Kross kind of is following in the path of, or
I don't know. See him following in a path. I mean, I guess everybody's following a path to some degree, but I'm just too dense to see it. You know, for me, it's always like if person X and person Y had a baby, it would be this person. That's more how my brain works. So it would be like if Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt were smushed together, then all of a sudden you would get a Karrion Kross, because he wants to do darker, more theatrical type promos, like with the black and white and his ability to communicate in the ring. He likes it to be a little more old school, right? Like not in a campy way, like in a dark, like horror movie kind of way, the same way Bray did. And then his body and the way he works is much more like Randy. Although Randy for a long time was the best wrestler in the world, and I don't think Karrion's gotten to carry that moniker yet, because he hasn't had the opportunity to have, you know, those types of world class matches the way Randy was having them with John back in the day. Randy was the kind of guy. I remember watching a random episode of like the Saturday Day Show. It was like on TBS, and it was Randy versus Primo Colon. Easy match for Randy, right? Even though we all love Primo, he's super nice, he's cool. Easy match. And Randy still made you think for a second that Primo had a shot to win that fucking match. And when I saw it, I go, this dude is the friggin' best wrestler in the world, because I knew the finish of this match, and he still made me for a second go, wait, is he calling an audible?
Is Primo winning? Yeah.
Like, it was like crazy. So yeah, man, I friggin' love Randy. I shouldn't say that because he broke my back. I friggin' love Randy. I think it's awesome that he's doing this. I don't think he's going to win the match at Backlash, but man, it would be cool if he did, bro. It would be so cool if he did.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. I always just ask that because sometimes it's like, you know, Kevin Hart's kind of our Eddie Murphy now, you know, or like you kind of like have like whoever. So I was wondering what Karrion Kross would be, and you answered it.
Yeah, it's funny, those types of comparisons. As like the son of a famous person, like I hated being compared to anybody, especially my dad, right? So I've always tried to say, no, they're not that. No, they're not this. No, they're not that. Like hardcore Eddie Murphy fans would be like, no, Kevin Hart's not the next Eddie Murphy. There's only one Eddie Murphy, right? Like there's all these like gatekeeping fans. And then there's guys like me, and I don't like comparing art. That's what it is, Jeff. I get it if we're racing and you want to see if you're faster than me. You are. I'm old and nothing works anymore. So you and I race and we can determine who's faster. But I don't like saying this comedian is better than this comedian, because it's art. How can you say that this Picasso's better than that Modigliani? You can't. You can, but I love that answer. But I don't respect that if you do. You can say I like it better. Yeah. But you can't say it's categorically better. And so that's why I don't like comparisons saying like, oh, is he Randy Orton? Because it's like, nah, man, he's Karrion Kross. Like he's got the way I think of it is because I am a comedian, is I like to go, am I that successful yet? if you compare me to that guy, it's me going, oh, I'm now here. Oh, good. I've made it to like maybe that level of, so like, what do you think when someone says, man, that guy, he could be the next Hogan? You're not really saying he's going to be anything like Hogan, but you could say that he's at the level of that's fair. Hogan. Yeah, you know, that's totally fair. I did that early in my career. I did that earlier in my career, and we did it like based on quotes, right? And it would be like, how much money does your quote guarantee you per movie, right?
Right.
Like, and I shouldn't like, well, it's my money. I can talk about my money. There was a female actress, and it was me in the 90s that were the first ones to get like $1 million for a movie. And that was like, when I hit that level, like you're saying, I went, oh my God, I just did what actress X just did.
Sure.
And she's done 3 more movies than I have. I'm gaining on her. And it was like, you know what I mean? And it made you work harder because you wanted to be the one to be the first actor to break 2 mil of your generation. Right. There were actors making 12 million and 20 million a movie in the 90s, trust me. But this was from our generation, right? The 90s kids. We were the first 2 to hit $1 mil. We were the first 2 to hit 2. And then upwards and beyond that as things went. And then as things didn't go well, you start making less. That's how it works. And all of a sudden you're like, wait, my quote's 4, and they're like, nah, not after that last movie, buddy.
Yeah.
Now it's 1.5, and you're like, oh, all right, okay, yeah,
I hope this one's a home run.
Yeah, so it's a tricky business. Your quote does not last unless the movies are successful. So yeah, man, I get what you're saying in that regard of like comparing yourself to others because it means you made it, right? Like that, This is a level of success that was a dream and it became a reality, or it was 1,000 nightmares that I had and it became a dream in real life because I was psyching myself out. I was a self-sabotager. I would self-punish, and that was my way of learning, like very Ichiro Suzuki, right? Like, I had a bad day at the ballpark. I'm going to hit 12,000 balls, and if I don't hit them all in a row, I'm going to start over from scratch. Like, what a horrible way to live. It sucks bad, but that's how I was. I would, if I blew an audition, then I would literally rework the audition that I had no chance to get anymore because I blew it until I felt comfortable with it, and then I could finally fucking move on. And if I didn't do that, I couldn't. We've gotten way sidetracked here, and we're not even talking wrestling anymore. No, it's okay. Hopefully you guys are still interested. I think people get interested in the entertainment business too and don't mind hearing those types of stories. But yeah, we should talk wrestling some more. All right, dude. Do you want to talk Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman, or do you want to talk Gunther attacking Pat McAfee?
Whatever you'd like to jump into. I've got strong opinions about both.
Okay, then let's do Gunther McAfee first, and let me hear your opinions on what motivated this and all this, and did you like it or not? And then I'll tell you how I feel, and we'll see if it's the same.
I am curious why they're doing this. I don't understand where it came from or why it's happening. I'm open to it, I suppose. But here's the thing. Pat McAfee is a star. I think this guy is incredible. I got to meet him briefly, and this has nothing to do with me meeting him. But when I met him, I was like, man, I got like, in show business they talk about that it factor.
Sure.
Where like you can't really put your finger on it, but there's just something about him where you're like, that guy's got it.
I strongly agree with everything you're saying.
He has that so much. He's charming. He's professional even while not being professional. Like he'll do a thing that isn't professional and you're still like, it works. For some reason, he can do that. Like that work. Now, that being said, he doesn't need to be in any of the wrestling storylines. He's a great announcer. He's got a great show. If he wants to be in the storylines as a wrestler or involved in a wrestling storyline, then kudos to him. I love you, buddy. So I'm happy that if you want this, but we've got so much talent in the locker room, and we've got so many people waiting around for a story or waiting around for a push that I just don't know why we need to bring Pat into this. That being said, I'm sure it's going to be great. I'm sure Pat's going to knock it out of the park, but I think it's a little bit beneath Gunther and a little bit above Pat when it comes to wrestling. So I'm very confused, but I'm keeping an open mind.
So let me tell you why I think they're doing it, and maybe that'll give you a why if you buy it. And if you don't, then and maybe they're doing something different than what I'm saying. When Gunther lost, it was kind of like, oh shit, what's going to happen
now
to Gunther?
What? Yeah.
Because it makes him look weak to lose the title. Obviously, the stronger, better man won, Jey Uso. Jey looks great. Gunther puts him over. Gunther or Gunther? Either way. I
say Gunther.
I respect whichever one it is. I'll say Gunther just in case. So Gunther loses that match, which weakens his character. To have him just demand a rematch would be weird. To have him have to work his way back up would be weakening the character even more. So what could you do with him? Maybe you do something so out of fucking character that he loses it when he's getting criticized or even ridiculed by the commentary crew, and he goes out and he fucking assaults somebody, physically assaults two different people, and fucking loses his shit. And I'm not saying they're building to a match with McAfee, but if they did, McAfee's doing the fucking job. He'll be the first celebrity to ever, I wanted to do a job one time back in the day, but he'll be the first celebrity to actually get to do a job and lose instead of them always looking great and winning the match, which is corny. You should never beat the wrestler in their environment. They should whip you. If you were going to do something in the streets, right? Like first to like build the match up, that's where you let the celebrity win because it happens on the sidewalk. They were at a restaurant. It happened outside. It's all staged, right?
Caught him off guard. Yeah.
Caught him off guard. He was drunk. He had too much to drink. The heel started the fight. The actor beats him up. But then once it's in the ring, the wrestler has to win. And I would hate it when the celebrities would win. I wouldn't even be, if they pitched that, I wouldn't even be a part of those segments. I literally would tell them, no, I'm not going to be a part of that. And I think McAfee's going to be the first one that like gets fucking squashed by a wrestler and takes it and puts the other guy over. And then you can have a match for Gunther because whoever comes out to save McAfee at that point is going to be Gunther's next opponent. And then they can go off to the races. So that's kind of my reasoning why I tried to stay open-minded to it, just like you. And that was the idea that popped in my head when I was watching it. But at first I was like, yo, what the fuck? What are they doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, with your headphones on, it looks like you're wearing a batting helmet instead of like a baseball cap. For those of you who can't see, sorry, you won't be laughing.
If I was allowed to, I would be rocking. If I could have headphones and a batting helmet, that would be right up my alley.
Exactly. All right. Do we want to talk? All right. We can talk Seth Rollins. We can talk Zelina Vega winning the title the same night her man re-debuts in friggin' SmackDown with Malachi. Or we can talk Stratton versus Cargill. By the way, Jade Cargill posted something on her Instagram where she was like, yo, the intrusive thoughts got him. And it was just a shot of her with her back facing the crowd and everyone in the front row is just staring at her ass. And I was like, yo, she hit it before anybody else could hit it. Like, that's such a gangster move. I was like, yo, that's awesome. I
already knew where you were headed with that.
Anyway, kudos to her for being badass.
I thought you and Alex would think this is funny. I was at a coffee shop and the woman that was working who was at the register, like I was like flirting with her. She looked exactly like Zelina Vega. And I was like, I was like laying it on thick. She was so beautiful. And I was like flirting with her and I felt like I was flirting with like Zelina Vega. And then in my mind, I was like, but she's not really Zelina Vega. She's just a girl who looks like Zelina Vega. So did you the same?
Did you stop flirting when that thought hit you?
Yeah, because in my mind, I'm like, it's not the same, you know? You could be with someone who looks exactly like one of your celebrity crushes. It doesn't matter because it's not them. It's just a person that looks like them.
Up until that point, was she buying what you were selling?
Yeah, she was into it. Yeah,
there you go, see?
Yeah. And even if she wasn't, who cares? I like to believe she was really into it.
That's the way to look at it no matter what. All right, well, then let's talk about that for a second because the build-up for Chelsea Green winning the title was really, really cool. And I didn't feel like they had anything for her once she won it. And I don't know if that's because she was a heel champion and it's easier to tell stories with the target on the back of a babyface champion because heels can come at him from different directions and babyfaces can only come at you from one direction, right? Head on, face to face, respectfully, and I'll defeat you man to man or woman to woman. I guess I know why they took it off, but I don't feel like it's her fault that they took it off her. She didn't have a story afterwards. It was more about trying to get her Secret Service people over than about her and the next evolution and where does Chelsea Green, the greatest American hero, go from here. And I really thought they were going to have something because she had a lot of energy building up to that in her promos and her segments, driving the general managers of her respective brand crazy all the time. Like, I liked what she was doing, and then it kind of just vanished. But I will say this. If it had to go away, it couldn't have gone away to a better person. I think Zelina Vega, she was kind enough to do our show once, and that's not the only reason I love her. If you watch that promo she cut backstage right before she went out to the match, that was the realest she's ever come off in her whole career. It was the realest promo. You knew she was going to win because, like I said, they hadn't really given Chelsea anything, and so I think they need to restart that fire and put it on a babyface so people can come after her and attack her, and then she has to climb out from under that pile all the time. Please go back and watch that promo she has backstage. I think it was with Byron. She's just talking, and it sounded like a UFC interview. It sounded real. Like just, oh, you're asking me a question? Let me answer it. Nothing was written for me. Here's how I feel. And I think it was written for her. but she just happened to execute it at a level where I was like, God damn, I hope she wins. And then she fucking won. So shout out to Zelina Vega. Big love for you. Puerto Rican sister, making it big. And congrats to your man coming back to WWE, Malachi Black, and coming and kicking the shit out of Miz. Everybody kicks the shit out. Let me tell you something. Miz is getting paid very, very well to take all these beatings. Otherwise, I would be pissed. But those dudes at that level are making good money, and he makes everybody look great, whether they're actors or whether it's people making their debut and just took that kick right to the face. And went down like a G. And Malachi Black looked awesome and so calm and collected. And it was just cool to see like a husband and wife together at the same place. It makes me feel good, Jeff. How did you feel about Zelina and all? Did you remember that backstage promo or no?
Yeah, I love it. I agree with all of the things you said. I think Zelina Vega's a star, and we're in the same kind of opinion with her as all the other things. It's like, when we're talking about the women's division, there's so much talent, and there's just so much talent not being used in the locker room, that when she's front and center, it's great. And then when she isn't, I'm upset. And so it's like, it's good to see it back around. So it's good. I think Chelsea Green is also amazing. So all the things they're doing with that, I think are justified.
Her farewell was amazing, losing the title. She just I love it when someone from a different country has the United States title, because it's always ironic. And her goodbye was the American flag in the background, and it was like, I'll see you again soon.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, dude, she's super funny and super cool. All right, you guys, we got time for one more, and then I gotta freaking go. You guys, I'm out pitching a horror movie right now.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the Crazy Street Profits match, or do we want to talk some AE dubs?
I feel like we haven't talked about AE dubs in a long time.
Well, they haven't done a lot, Jeff.
I know, it's not our fault.
They're doing tournaments. What do you want me to, like, this isn't to you. I'm not mad at you, but it's like, what do you want me to talk about? I never wrestled in the ring. I've taken a bump, not a bump to all you guys, like, not like that, a wrestling bump. And I've never done bumps of that stuff ever. Your boy's clean. But I've never wrestled. I wasn't an agent, and I'm not the best booker. I can talk about the wrestlers themselves, their promos at a very high level, I think better than most people. I can break down scenes, I feel better than most people. But how do I break down a tournament? I can tell you this. Every Will Ospreay match was sick as fuck. Like, I watch them with my kids, and they're like, yo, who is that? I'm like, yo, that's Will fucking Ospreay. My daughter was like, that's insane. She's a cheerleader. So she does the stunts that he does, and these girls catch her, and she's catching the girls, and they get thrown in the air and do like 4 twists, and fucking they get caught. It's sick. I'm getting into cheerleading now. I'm a cheer dad, by the way.
Nice.
My daughter got her jacket yesterday. She's all set and ready to go.
That sounds like a movie. Cheer Dad.
Cheer Dad on the Disney Channel. It'd be a shitty movie. But yeah, she watches Will Ospreay matches and thinks that he's sick and amazing. And she's seen a couple of his promos and knows that he can act and perform that way. But, I mean, outside of the quick little Don Callis and the quick little MJF, like, he hasn't had any long-term storytelling. It's just been like 3-week hitters. You know what I mean? And like, let's just get him wrestling. Let's get him wrestling. Let's get him wrestling, which is cool. Thank you. I'll take those matches. But I just can't say anything other than the matches are really sick. I want to break it down for you. I want to break down the story behind it. But there's just not a story enough for me to break down that's behind it. Or at least not stories that I'm clicking with.
If you'd have told me and Freddie and Alex 3 seasons ago that WWE would be so high and AEW would be going through such kind of an average patch that we wouldn't even be covering AEW on an episode, I would have never believed that. Yeah. In fact, I would have seen it maybe the other way around. Like, I could see that maybe we'll do a whole episode without talking about WWE. But man, have the tides changed?
And I don't like that. I mean, we could talk to MJF Hurt Syndicate if you want. They've had some hit nights and some miss nights for me. It's hard to see MJF want to be in a clique. I haven't seen that out of him before. He's committed to it, but as a fan, I like him being isolated. I like him being alone.
Lone wolf.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I'm not saying it's not working. I'm just not like I'm just not clicking with it. Like there's certain weeks where MVP cuts promos and I'm like, God damn, that was cold as ice. Like that was like, so he'd never be able to say that in WWE. And I'm so glad he can say it in AEW, right? And Max on the mic is Max. Like he's a 10, no matter the storyline. Like he's always going to cut something great and he's always going to be committed. I liked when they punked him and stole his car. You didn't like that? I thought that was funny because Bobby Lashley gave him the middle.
That's not
he's
how
like,
it works.
Not yet.
You can't just steal a car.
Well, he brought it back. He borrowed.
I showed
it.
you the keys. He
borrowed.
You give me a thumbs up, and the car's yours. And the guy's like, no, and then drive. So
You're
he
right. I guess
broke the deal.
You're right. But he's a big guy. If you're a big guy, you can break whatever deal you want.
That's true. So here's my thing on that. It's like, why are we doing it? I agree 100%. I like MGF as a lone wolf. I like him on his like, I don't give an F. I'm the guy. Like you guys all. You should be thanking me. It works perfect for being a bad guy. He's rules on the mic. And so all I can think is like, well, maybe they need him to help put over some of the other people. Maybe it's time that he starts making AEW big or as successful as it can be instead of just being, building the MJF reputation story. But then why put him with the Hurt Syndicate? Because they're going to be fine. Like MVP's so stinking good.
That's the best point. That's the best point, Jeff. Neither side needs the other.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. And also, like I said,
that's a great
to
way
make
to put
him
it, Jeff.
groveling, trying to get into this group feels weird. It feels very unnecessary. We've got MJF is great. Those three guys are great. If you're going to use a person that can help other people who are as talented as a Paul Heyman or a MJF, then pair them wisely. And I don't feel like this is a smart story, even though those guys are all talented enough to pull off this story.
Yeah, it's weird. I really like and respect everyone in the story. I just don't love the story. And so that's, I think you said it best. Like they're both over. They don't need to get each other more over. Like everyone, Shelton's getting Shelton Benjamins, thank you Shelton, you fucking rule chants.
Right.
Almost every week. And he's the least known in the Hurt Syndicate. Bobby's getting what Bobby gets. MVP is getting to say whatever he wants. When Big Bill and the bounty hunter tried to talk that shit on the promo, I mean, he cut them in half before the match even happened. Like he literally took a sword and verbally cut them in half. And I was just like, oh my God, I just saw a murder, like a verbal murder in the ring. And so I would rather see that kind of stuff in a long-term form than see him with Max. Like Max could be going after Swerve right now. He made a promise when he came back that he had his eye on what everyone else was doing and everybody else who was trying to be the top of the company. He was going to make sure they didn't. So there were stories laid out there that I feel he could have played with instead of this. But I will say this, they have had a couple weeks where I was like, all right, that was pretty funny. I like that. I didn't like seeing all the chicks come down because my son and my daughter were in the room and they were like, what's this? And I was like, this is more old school wrestling. Like when the Godfather would come out. Like,
oh yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, there's some AEW love. We thank you guys for tuning in. Jeff, tell the people where you're going to be at this weekend because it's not Arizona.
Won't be Arizona. I'll be all over the place. I'm going to be all week in Los Angeles at the Comedy Store. And then I go to Port Charlotte, Florida, all sorts of different cities coming up, Nashville, Miami. Go to jeffdye.com to check out those dates.
jeffdye.com. Check it out. Check us out each and every week. Thank you so much for being a part of this show, y'all. We appreciate you. We love you. If you like the episodes, give us some awesome reviews. If you hate the episodes, you could tell us. And if it's Jeff gets mad at you, but I might even read it on the air. So you might want to make up some hate, even if you don't, just to give a shout out. He'll cut a promo on your asses. I don't mind it. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. On behalf of Jeff Dye, I'm Freddie Prinze Jr. This was Wrestling with Freddie. Peace.